Sorry, I'm not used to them being in the box.
Oh.
Okay.
I had to play it extra safe.
Screw that all up. That's why I throw a floater. Come on, get over, get over, get over, baby. Come on. Yes!
Oh, nice. Can I throw that Hydra?
All I wanted.
Oh.
Wow, good run.
Hey, wait. Look at that roll.
Oh my God.
He's like, I just roll closer. It's all right. Hey, the goats are out.
Are you making a TikTok?
Oh, so good.
I don't know why I grabbed my putter.
All right, goat. Okay, over the goat, over the goat into the basket. Well, it's in the middle of the fairway.
Goat's distracting.
All right.
Heard what I did.
And this is when the audio went out. I replaced the battery on the GoPro, and unfortunately that disabled the audio, so the rest of this video will be with commentary, which is the first time I've done that this in about a year, so please forgive me. Mike had a good upshot there. I did not right here, and basically turned it over to Sean, asked him to save us, and indeed he focused a little bit and clutched up and did save us. So on this hole here, looks like we're in good shape, and I was pretty happy that Sean saved the par for us. All right, this hole I had been planning on for a full day. I told Sean in advance before we got here, because we rode in the car together. I'm going to do something special when I get up to throw, and I asked him to make sure that he gets a good 160, 200 feet to make sure I could go ahead and do it. I wanted to make sure I surprised Mike when I did it. So I basically got out my trusty old Leopard, and then I proceeded to throw a roller. I've very rarely thrown rollers, and when I've done it, I've only done it with the Leopard, and I've only done it on video, and this is my 5th out of 5 times trying it, and I was successful. So I felt really good doing that. So I brought us pretty far. Sean throws this, he wants to curve it around, and unfortunately the wind caught it, and it ended up just shy of the lake. It was dry. Sean basically went to go get that after I made this upshot here, and sure enough, I made the same mistake, though fortunately I corrected a bit and threw it more to the left. So Mike gets up to his first throw, and he's going to make a second throw, and he basically nails it. He throws this mid-range pretty well. I think it's a buzz, and he gets it, or it's a zone actually, and he gets it close to the basket. Sean here grabs his buzz, and then he clutches up, throws that directly towards the basket, and it basically hit the cage. He was pretty pumped. I was pumped, and even Mike was impressed. So at this point, I had to run it. He's under the basket or right next to it. So I, of course, yank it with Anheuser, and I put it towards the edge of the woods, about 30 feet to the right of the basket. So Mike gets a birdie, which was very impressive considering he doesn't have a partner to help him out. And Sean, of course, basically taps in for an easy par, and that's the best we've ever done on this hole. We've only ever played this course once previously in a scramble together, just Sean and I, and that's our best score there. And actually, we're doing good. Mike here, he takes the box, or he keeps the box, and he throws his Chris Dickerson buzz. That's the one that Sean gave him when he got back from, or I think he gave it to him for Christmas or something. I can't remember. Anyways, Sean's got his Mamba, and he yanks it a little bit too much Anheuser. He had the right power on it, just the angle was a little bit too much Annie on it, and it rolled to the right. Now, of course, wanted to correct, and I put a little bit, I don't want to say too much hyzer. It's just that I released it early. It was flat. That was my attempt to go hyzer, and what I did is I early released, but I early released flat. This is my lie here. Sean, he was pretty upset. He accidentally threw the putter high. He was trying to throw it at the basket, and he accidentally hyzer released it high, and so it put him about 20 feet from the basket, maybe a little bit under. And I Anheuser putted, but fortunately I didn't screw it up enough to where we could get that in. So Mike's pointing out he's got that Chris Dickerson buzz. He got it as a present, and he's basically stunting on us for getting 2 birdies in a row now. And we're all just laughing about it. All right, Mike here clutches up. This is actually a really long hole, but he has a distance to get close to the basket. He's actually made a handful of throws at least as far as the basket, if not farther. And so he guns it, absolutely guns it. Throws that disc as far as he can and tries to clear the OB. I asked him if he wanted to do a provisional, and he declined. Sean and I basically just had a game plan of throwing to the corner, and we didn't want to mess with the OB. We just wanted to get far. So he did really good there. I was pretty happy with that response. So now I decided I'm going to go ahead and try to gun it a little bit, try to do a little bit better than Sean. And I basically round a little bit and pull. So all the form training I'd been doing in the days previous to this, I basically went to waste here as I'm reverting to form accidentally. So Sean brings us to the yard, so he's going to try to get over the OB and cross to the basket. And he actually gets us across the OB, but we're a good distance out. So I grab my T-Bird, which is my most overstable fairway driver. It's in Champion Plastic Max Weight. I launch it straight and then let it curve, and it basically lands right next to the basket. So this was actually a calculated throw on my part that I actually executed. Mike there, he basically goes back to the tee pad, realizing that he's out of bounds, and just throws again from the tee. And then this is his 4th throw now. He's a good 60 feet, 70 feet from the basket. So really he's just trying to get it close to the basket or make it in. It's kind of a conservative throw, just a tiny bit too high, but he's got that. That's maybe 15 feet away. And so he basically putts in his 5. Very, very close. He almost didn't make it. And Mike's just, doing a reality check, making sure we're focused and concentrating, and Sean taps in our birdie. We take the box, so Sean's going to go ahead and clutch up with his Mamba. This is lightweight Mamba. It's like 150 grams, 157 grams, star plastic, factory second, and it gets at about 200 feet. This is, this is what we're working with, and we're actually pretty tired at this point. The sun is going down, fairly soon, and I lose control. I lost my balance and basically yanked that accidentally, but I don't screw up too badly here. Mike, he's gonna launch this one, and he looks like he's got a good line. He's gonna do that, and it just goes too straight, and it basically hits the trees. And actually, that if there were no trees there, it probably would have landed next to the basket or landed shy of the basket and would have been an easy birdie. But anyways, we are now at my throw here. Sean does a great Anheuser throw. This is actually a deliberate Anheuser throw, as he wanted to angle that into there. He told me he was going to do that. And I try to do the same here with my R Pro Aviar. This is my putting putter, which I use for approaches within 100 feet. And I accidentally rounded, and then I accidentally put too much power on it. And I shot way past the basket accidentally. I barely threw it. Goes for his birdie putt and just barely misses. It actually hits the cage and drops down, but he almost had that. So Sean here is going to putt it in, and as you'll notice, he basically throws first, does the upshots first, and putts first as a rule, and there are some exceptions. Sometimes I may want to run it, but he putts in the par from about 20, 25 feet, maybe 20 feet. Mike taps in his par, and we're at this point trying to race the daylight. Sean accidentally yanks it again. He just put it out too far and then yanked it and held on to it for too long. So I figure, okay, I'm going to go in here. Just going to throw my leopard, throw a little high, and then I just throw it too low. And it basically doesn't go nearly as far as what I was trying. And then Mike here, he grabs, I believe this is a mid of some sort, but I don't recall. It's in Crystal Flex, and he basically gets it close to the basket. So here we are with my upshot, which we're only using because I didn't shank it. And Sean went for it. I was so proud of him with this throw. He just grabbed his judge in plasma or whatever, plastic, prime plastic, and he actually shoots long of the basket, but it was a perfect line. He just put a little too much power on it. Me, I aimed a little too high, and so it hyzered out prematurely. So Sean grabs his judge from the edge of the woods there. I'm a few feet closer and not actually in the woods like his putter was. So we're about 25 feet or maybe a little bit more. And we don't have a high chance of making this, but we have a decent chance of making this. But it is getting dark, and it's darker than what you see here on the camera. And just, he fluffed it. He just couldn't put the power on it. So here I'm focusing like crazy. I'm like determined, bound and determined to put this in with my R Pro Aviar, and I pull to the right with the Anheuser. Actually, I had the right line. I was approaching the basket, but my wrist angle changed to an Anheuser angle accidentally, so it pulled to the right. So I was actually pretty upset here, and Sean actually had to sort of, tell me to kind of, hey, we got this, to me. And at this point, the sun is going down, and this is brighter than it looks. Mike is going to gun it and accidentally hits this metal pillar. And so this gives us an opportunity to hold on to our lead. Sean actually hurt his heel a little bit, so he's kind of limping a little bit. And he accidentally, he is just not able to put the power on that he wants to. But he got through, and that's all he wanted, and that's all I wanted. He's about halfway, a little more of what we need. So I have the go-ahead. I can go green light go, and I can also throw it into the pillar that Mike threw it into. So yeah, my frustration was starting to get to me at this point. I was tired. It's dark, and at this point, we can't actually see the basket. We know where it's at because we've played it here before. We can sort of see a dark area where the basket's at, but we literally cannot see the basket. So we're throwing to where we know the basket is at this point. It's actually darker than what you see here on camera. Sean, we're going from his lie. He throws his disc. He does a pretty good job, but he's just not able to put the power on it. Me, I have kind of the go-ahead to do the same thing, and I basically just Anheuser throw it. That's one of the problems I've picked up recently. I stand up too straight and released my throws on Anheuser. So even though I had the right power on it, I just I didn't give it the right release angle, and it didn't land where it needs to. Mike's going to go for a putt, but really he kind of just makes an upshot out of it. I think he kind of gave up trying to go for the putt because he wanted to just get the safe 3. Sean doesn't really think that way, so he's going to go for it, and which is fine. I basically told him on our way here, because we drove up in his car. He drove us here. You know, I want you to gun it, and gun every putt. And so, and that's basically how we go. So at this point, he puts it right next to the basket. So I have the go-ahead to do the same thing. So I'm really focused and determined, and I'm going to fluff it. So I guess my coordination was going. And again, I was still just getting a little frustrated here because none of the throws or putts were coming out the way I wanted at this point. And at this point, my shoulder was hurting. Something I mentioned in my previous training video. I've been dealing with my shoulder hurting more, and that's true today as I'm editing this video, although I'm healing a bit. So we're laughing about it all. We're just kind of tired. We're so glad we're over. This game's ending. Mike throws a really good throw, and this lands, I think, I don't recall, but it lands at a really good spot. I think just shy of the street, which we're considering OB. Sean tries to gun it, and similar to me, threw it Anheuser, and he also threw it slightly late, and it just hit the pole. So here I have permission to gun it with my FD, my Discmania FD, and I gun it. I put everything on it that I wanted to, and I got it a good 30 feet shy of the street, which is what I wanted. And we actually switched it up. I wanted to approach safely to the basket so that he could run it here, because he wanted to run this putt. So we agreed to let me throw first so he could run it after I got it there safely. Or if I messed up the shot and didn't get there safely, I wanted him to get it there safely. And he also put it right next to mine. So both of us ended up there. Here's Mike's drive, really good drive, about 270. And then he almost made it. He actually hit chains there, and it just didn't go in because it was high left side, which is fine. And that basically wraps it up. We were all really tired at this point. My shoulder was hurting a good bit, and I was just so thankful this is over. They're playing around and having a good time, and that wraps it up for my commentary. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.